Hello, everyone. Welcome to Culture Saturday. It's Lady TrenettWilson, and I want to thank you for tuning in to Royal Black and Elite. On Saturdays, I talk about things that are more culturally based, and all the other days I talk about the history. But today, I wanted to talk about something that's exploding all over the news. I think we need to talk about it because this is black faced. However, this is not Black Americans. And I want to show you some of the game that's been going on and how this money's been moving. But yet we as business owners, a lot of times as Black Americans, don't even know this money is moving, or sometimes don't even have access to this money. So I wanted to talk about this, and I think sound the alarm really for us as Black Americans so that we can move forward in this situation as this opportunity is opening up for business owners. Now, if you've been listening to the news, I know you've heard the story about Minnesota. That's Elon Omar. That's Governor Tim Walz. He could have been the vice president. This is, I mean, I can't even believe it. 1 billion to 6 billion taxpayer dollars. Now, these monies were state administered through social service programs, and already nearly 60 people have been convicted. Now they did things like they had these programs that they said they were helping kids with autism, that they were feeding the sick, but come to find out, all they were doing was getting that money. They were not feeding anybody or very few people and sending the money back overseas. And you're talking about $6 billion. So feeding our future just got convicted for $250 million. They exploited federally funded child nutrition programs. They created these meal sites, and then they would submit these fake claims for the number of meals that they served. Now, listen, I had a friend of mine. She had an after school program, and she submitted some meal things, but she didn't sign on the right line. And within a week, they sent her a letter back and said because that wasn't signed correctly, she did not submit the proper paperwork, that she would have to pay back the $13,000 within 30 days. That's in Texas. In Minnesota, these people stole $6 billion, didn't feed any kids, and no one blew the whistle except some DHS employees. So we have to give a hand to them, and even the New York Times, and even some of the more, all the liberal media, conservative media, and people like us. We're talking about this because this is mind-boggling that Tim Walz, Elon Omar, and the people there in Minnesota are turning their back and their face away from what is happening here in their community. And these are not just Minnesota dollars. That's why I'm talking about this. These are federal dollars that these people were stealing. Now they were stopped at evidently at every turn, according to these state people who are turning and telling what's going on. Now they call Tim Walz Tampon Tim because he's really liberal. So I don't know if they have tampons in a boys' bathroom, but what I do know is that they're a sanctuary state, and they let people in this country who do not go through background checks, who do not go through anything, and give them $6 billion and let them run bogus companies, allegedly. Now, over the last 10 years, they're saying that Minnesota has replaced ADOS and even white people and even just all other immigrants there in Minnesota. So they call it Little Mogadishu because it has a lot of Somali people. Now, Somalia is a war-torn country. And they say they are running from this war torn country because they are fighting over there. In fact, the UN doesn't even call it a country. It is a terrible place. You see pictures here. And so it's not a place these people want to be. So we, in our graciousness, open our borders up to them to come and live into this country. And this is what they're doing, allegedly. Meanwhile, Black American business owners are going to banks being denied and have to take second tier type of loans in order to fund their businesses. Now, I'm not saying Black Americans are not doing this too. We do see some of this, check some of my videos. I put them down below. We still in too. But we are Americans. And so when you talk about we can't give reparations, but you're giving $6 billion to people who never built this country, then I mean, it's a lot of talking that we need to do. I want to go live about this, y'all. Will y'all meet me? Put a like down below if you want to go live and let's talk about this. Let's talk about where the business funding is going to. Why are they funding these businesses of people who are foreigners? And that's the thing about it. When you look across the social service network, when I'm talking about health care providers, transportation services, people who occupational, all these services that are provided to people with autism, older people, people who own these group homes, they are all foreigners, mostly Africans, but from other countries as well. So what's going on here? Even in their state housing stabilization services, there was large scale fraud over $104 million. Now, I notice that mostly Africans and other immigrants are in this field. Do they know something we don't know? Yeah, they do. They can steal the money, send it overseas, and then when it get hot, they fly across and they're free. And we as taxpayers get hold in the bag. So that's the difference. Meanwhile, they're giving these people rights to vote. And Elon Omar, they're placing them in position. She allegedly even sponsored a bill that allowed that $250 million to go. And then she goes on CNN and says, well, one of the reasons the Somalis are stealing is because there wasn't safeguards in place when all the money became available during COVID. So this is when all this money got stole during COVID. Safeguards wasn't in place. Ma'am, you were a representative of that place. You were the ones writing the law. So you all, I think this is a conversation we need to have. I don't know why this ran me so hot. I think it's because I see a lot of people, black people, struggling trying to keep restaurants open, trying to keep daycares open, trying to keep all these things open. Meanwhile, people coming from all over the world getting money, not from banks all the time, though they do once they get the money from the government. And now they have $8 billion, and now they can go leverage that and get money from banks. When black Americans don't have that same opportunity. So, well, if you hear stuff about racism, listen, I don't want any black American attacked. I don't like anything, to do with racism or anything like that. But I don't think this is a racist attack. I think this is about money. This is a green attack. Now, Donald is coming in there like Nino Brown, and they all sitting at the table, and he's saying, don't know nobody know nothing. Oh yeah, somebody knows something. So I do believe he is going to get to the bottom of it. I don't care if you like him or don't like him. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm talking to talk about finally there is some accountability, you know, some uncovering of what games been played in our country, and black people haven't known anything about it. So what I would say is start doing your research. If you want to open up a house for caregiving, if you want to have a home health care agency, if you want to have a transportation service, you don't have to wait on anybody. Get things in place now. Start putting your business plan together now, because as the government begins to claw back their money from these people who've been stealing it, you will be in a perfect position to step in and service the American people who need these services. These services are needed. There are people with autism. There are people, older people who need these services. So this must stop now. So please tell me what you think. Are you in this industry? Do you agree with me, or do you think the government, they're being racist and they're just covering these people, or targeting these people? Tell me what you think below. I think everybody needs to go to jail, even Walsh and Omar, if they are complicit in this. If they're passing laws, if they're looking the other way, then, and do y'all know they said some of the money even went back allegedly to people who don't do good things to other people who did 9/11? You know what I'm talking about. So, y'all, there's a lot going on. Y'all continue to log on to Royal Black and Elite on the culture side so I can keep you posted of what's going on, giving you some of the news. Are you from Minnesota? Have you seen a big American black exodus from Minnesota? Is your voice drowned out because of these Somalis, or are you sitting on the sideline scared? Because we can't let other people keep coming into our communities and taking it from us. We have to stand up. Now, I'm not saying fight everybody. I don't want to fight everybody. Black people always have to be the one picking up the fight. We got to fight this people and that people. No, but we do need to recognize that there's a game being played all around us. People are getting paid and we are not. And why is that? Why are we losing homes? Why are we losing businesses? As a community, what they just did in Chicago with Brandon Johnson was so cold-blooded, raised taxes 100% on everybody black. The whole black neighborhood, but nobody else. They try to drive the black people out because they want that land. And they use the blackface to do it. So y'all all skin folk and kinfolk, as the old people used to say. And I think we need to keep our eyes and ears open. And I think we need to have a conversation. Continue the conversation. Continue to mobilize and move, not behind borders being open. That doesn't help the black community, but behind what empowers true Black America. So please tell me what you think. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Y'all push this video out, hype it out, because I'm fighting against these algorithms, and they don't really want to hear this conversation, but I think we need to have it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Have a good one.